my father is one of the founders of Hamas, to this side of truth. Anybody can argue, say, this is not the side of truth, but I prefer to be here. I don't want to be on the other side. And I will actually resist the other side that is lustful for territory, for power, to dominate, to kill like mad dogs, street dogs, marking their territory, pissing all over the place, say, this is mine. My land. It's not your land. It's no one's land. It belongs to the divine. Israel was at the most religious holiday, and they took advantage of that, killing so many innocent people, not only Israelis, Thai workers, American citizens, people partying. Like, who kills a DJ? Only Hamas could do that. We need order. The alternative to order is chaos. Israel in the Middle East represents order. It's not a perfect country. Hamas represents chaos. If I had to choose between imperfect country, political entity, or chaos, for myself, for my neighbor, for my friends, for my children, I choose a place where there is order. Not a place where there is absolute control of power, driven by hatred and human delusion. There is no such a thing as the end. Life is infinite, with infinite possibilities. But there is the rise of force and there is the fall of another. And now it's up to us. We need to decide. We can stop this war right at the Gaza front. Hamas has to be removed from power. End of the story. You know what Hamas learned from the past 3 wars? That the world will beg for a ceasefire very fast. This is what they have been counting on. You know, they use children and women, civilians, as human shields, knowing that there are gonna be great civilian casualties. Then they are counting on people like the pro-Palestine movement, who are so terrified to see bloodshed. As you know, Israel started this. And they knew that the world would blame Israel for the death of many innocent people, not Hamas. This is why Hamas thought that the public pressure will force Israel to cease fire and they would get away with their crime. Hamas ideology, you want to annihilate the state of Israel? Okay, they wanted to relocate 10 million people who were born in that land. And I think, you know, many people say, this is my land because my ancestors, etc. Okay, you know, you can believe whatever. It's in the Bible, believe whatever. But the truth, anyone who's born in that land has the birthright to that land. It's a birthright. So I saw that my father would suffer, my family would suffer, our people would suffer for eternity in a vicious cycle of violence that will never end. So simply I said no to that. I don't like the idea. You know, if it means that I struggle my entire life to just take power over a territory, self-destruction, this is not a life I wanted. Yeah. So they can consider me as selfish, that I love life very much. If Hamas was a political movement, then yes, negotiations could be the solution. But Hamas is a religious movement. No political value or price can satisfy their religious ambition, because they want the Holy Land. They want Al-Aqsa Mosque, and they want the relocation of more than 10 million people, go somewhere else. It's not Hamas problem where they go. So how can you negotiate with somebody who has this mindset? And what's the outcome? This is why democracies don't negotiate with terrorist groups, because if they haven't dropped the use of force as a mean to achieve their political goals, then democracies cannot negotiate with them, because democracy is based not on the use of force. It has an army to protect it, it has police, but it's based on dialogue and the power of reason, not the power of the gun only. And Hamas is a terrorist group by all standards. Actually, a terrorist group is an understatement, because what they did on October 7th and what they did before is barbaric. Such a setback. They put a setback in the human consciousness. They brought us back to the Stone Age with their barbaric act. And the people who now just, want ceasefire and want to negotiate, etc. I say, if you don't know how to fight, step on the side. It's not an easy job. It's easy to sit here and talk about it. As we speak right now, there are fighters on our behalf in the scope of Hamas fire, where they're shooting deadly weapons, lethal weapons on those soldiers who had to live a normal life, a successful business or family, children, and they had to go on this front to fight on behalf of Israel and to fight on behalf of our freedoms, behalf of all the defenseless in the world, and on behalf of the idiots protesting on campuses. Israel is not responsible and cannot be responsible for the harm that happens to civilians when Hamas used them as human shields. Israel, the IDF, successfully cut the Gaza Strip in two parts. We're able to evacuate many civilians from north to the south. The civilians who choose to stay up north, this is also not Israel's responsibility. If any harm happened to them, they had the opportunity more than 21 days to evacuate. And everybody was screaming out loud, this is not a joke, evacuate. And they choose to give Hamas cover. If they die with Hamas, it's not Israel to blame. So now Israel cut the strip. They controlled Al-Rashid Street, this is the beach road, Salah ad-Din Road, this is the central road, and they control the inner land with ground fire. Gaza is considered evacuated civilians who staying there, so attached to their property, they brought death upon themselves. October 7th, that we have about 1,500 terrorists who have been confessing. Locations of tunnels, tunnel mouths, which tunnels has big bunkers that could have the hostages, and many other secrets on Hamas. Hamas did not see this coming. Okay, and this is where Israel has the power now. This intelligence hub that is happening right now, Unit 504, been activated. It has been all along Unit 8200, that's technology. So now we are going back to the old-fashioned human. Bring information from human beings who are confessing and bringing us information so we can understand the brain of Hamas. War. Think about it, the Palestinian Authority leadership. If there was no war, what's the need for them? They've been busy trying to destroy the state of Israel, not to build the Palestinian state. And if you take this cause from them, they're left with no agendas. And they have to be replaced with a new generation that believes in creation, not destruction. I guarantee you that Sisi of Egypt and the Jordanian king, Saudi Arabia, a bunch of other Arab intelligence services and governments, they don't want Hamas. They want Hamas finished. This is in the secret meetings and the secret phone calls, finish them. But in public, they're hypocrites. They go on inciting against Israel. So they don't appear to be participating with the occupation against the people. After 1967 war, okay, when the Arab countries united, tried to annihilate the state of Israel. Israel was extremely outnumbered in that war. And the surprise was that Israel had a victory over the many Arab countries. As a result of that war, Israel controlled the Jordanian Valley, including Jerusalem, Sinai, the Golan Heights. Arabs did not accept defeat. They thought, no, we will try again later. And they just kept trying until today. Instead of saying, we lost the war, and the victors write or set the terms to the defeated. Because a Palestine, in principle, was given to the Arabs prior to the 1967 war. But the Arabs said no. They said, our condition, we destroy the state of Israel first, then we can build a Palestinian state on the rubble of the state of Israel. And this is why they said no to the United Nations resolution to establish a Palestinian state that could live as neighbor with the state of Israel. So they choose to go to the 1967 war, and they lost the war. But then they insist on writing the terms and the conditions to the victor. Well, you cannot do this. Only victors write history. They started the war with Israel on October 7th. And I say, the future of Gaza is in the hands of the victor. The victor only set the terms to the defeated. So if Israel defeat Hamas in Gaza, and as an outcome of this defeat, there won't be Gaza, no one should or dare to blame Israel for whatever they are going to do.
Come on, can we thank Mosab for being with us this evening in Seattle? Awesome.